Hey, good morning. Welcome to Hobby Evolution episode 1524. It is Thursday. I keep forgetting what day it is. And that's going to be a problem for a while, I think. I am really late. It's 9:34. I'm late because, well, we went eBay live in last night. I think I was up until, I think our eBay live stream went till about 11:30 last night. And maybe 11, but I went to bed after midnight. So today's a shipping day. Yesterday I had some time to really grasp the depth of erasing all of my, with the exception of 50 buy it now listings, and the time that I had. And you can argue, well, you didn't make any money. I made more money yesterday 5 times than what I would have made had I left my store open with $1.75 buy it now listings. And I basically spent the entire day fucking around, with the exception of my 2-hour live in the morning. So it was, it's like, wow, this is really going to open up the potential to make even more money than I thought. Because now I can not necessarily curate when I'm not shipping $1.75 sales, but I can sort and I can be more prepared for these live sales. And I was able to dig through several boxes yesterday. So the topic, something that's kind of I've thought about, and since I went and deleted all of what, with the exception of 50 listings, I've heard it from everyone. Oh, it's not going to last, not sustainable. I can't believe you're taking down all your buy it now listings. I've heard it from every corner of forums, YouTube, and Twitter and Facebook. And I love it because it fuels my fire. And I wrote down some of the biggest, and, to be frank, not my old neighbor Frank, but to be frank, I probably would have said the same things. But I do want to tell you, I also want to, when I share my opinions, I don't want it to be preachy, and I don't want it to sound like anybody can do it. However, anybody can do this. I sell baseball cards. Anybody can do that. And many people have. Many people have tried. Many people have failed, and that's what we're going to touch on today. I don't want to come out every day and say, eBay Live is the future. Live selling is the future. Live selling, by the way, is the future, but it's not for everyone. So today I want to address a lot of the naysayers. It may not be for everybody, but it is for me. And to those that say, well, it's not going to last. You're not going to get $18 for a card like that. You're not going to 10X. You're not going to 5X. You're not going to 20X. No. But think about it this way. People are overpaying in our minds. They don't think they're overpaying. Many buyers are not like you and me, for the most part. Now, I often overpay for Cubs cards. It's like, I don't have that. I want it. If I'm at a card show, I'm digging through a box. I bought a Ryan Brazier Topps Heritage Chrome for $2. Now, if he wasn't a Cub and I didn't want that card, it would have been in my quarter box. I paid $2 for it. Even we overpay sometimes. Not just in live selling, but at a card show, or maybe even on eBay or other platforms, Twitter, Facebook, whatever. So people will continue to overpay in our opinion, overpay. And I guess is it really an opinion if there's other comps out there? But here's the thing. Here's the thing when it comes to overpaying. How come it's a bad thing, or it's people are dumb when they overpay and spend $10 on a $2 or $3 card on eBay Live or whatnot, or some other name your platform? But many of us, myself included, have made lots and lots of money selling cards for $1.75 that are penny cards. I've sold some 91 Fleers for $1.75. I sell base Topps cards for $1.75. And those are basically penny cards. I basically give those away. Sometimes I trash those cards. And yet what's the multiplication on a penny to $1.75? So people will always, in our opinions, overpay for cards. Now, sometimes it just depends. What's crazy is I'm selling above comps on stuff like Barry Sanders and Joe Montana and Bo Jackson. The funny thing is, some of the stuff that I bought at the card shop in Maine last weekend sold for like $1 more than I paid for. It was crazy. There were like 5 or 6 cards that I paid $5 for, and they sold for $6 plus that 99-cent shipping. I think both of the slabs that I bought, I paid $15 and $30. I can't remember. Oh, the Jaden Daniels sold for $30 and a penny. It sold for a penny more than I paid for it. And the two went for, I think, $1 more. However, I sold an 89 Donruss pack for $19. I paid $2 for that. I was selling the Skybox packs for $10 to $15. I paid $2 for those. So I said this to somebody. I should have just avoided the singles altogether, with the exception there was like a Barry Sanders that sold for like $10, $15, paid $1 for it. There were some others that I did, but like there was an RPA that I did. I sold for like $15 or $20, paid $5 for that. But it's funny what some things in our estimation oversell for, or undersell for, or sell for what exactly what we thought. So I just want to take some time to tell you, you're going to fail at live selling. And hey, so I went live twice yesterday. The first time in the morning, and I had to like speed it up. Man, it was perfect. It was nearly perfect timing. It did go out like at the power went out at like the last second. But I did get all 125 auctions in. Boy, the power company meant when they said noon, they meant noon. It was like the second hand hits noon, boom, your power's out. They're hitting that switch right away. So they were actually doing work like in our backyards, because I went outside and sat outside and enjoyed the heat and humidity. And I heard like trucks in the back, and I'm like, what the hell? And they mowed our weeds down by the pond, which last year they didn't do that until the fall, like for winter cleanup or whatever. But maybe because we've had more rain than usual, maybe that's why they did it. Oh, or it could be mosquito prevention. Since we have had more rain, it's been humid, we get more mosquitoes. And when I was down there before we left, man, I got eaten alive by mosquitoes, which I was sitting in the weeds. So duh. Anyway, so power goes out, and I go outside and catch up, because I just come from eBay Live, so I'm catching up on emails and stuff. And I go in, and it's like, okay, it's noon. It's like, I needed some lunch. I want a salad. I need to do some detox after long eating and drinking my way through Portland. So decided to go to the grocery store. However, the power was out. I couldn't get my garage door open. Now it came to me through some friends that there's like an emergency, and I didn't want to deal with that. It's like, I don't need to get grocery. The power was only going to be out for like 90 minutes max. So I was okay waiting the storm out of no power. So then I decided, well, I got nothing to do. I might as well ship what I just sold. I need the power for the now the laptop. I have battery power, but the label printer does require power. It's like, I'm not going to completely redo how I ship just for this 1 hour. I can take a break. So it's like, now what do I do? So I picked some tomatoes out of my garden. Garden's doing great. Nice, plump, orange, sun-sweet cherry tomatoes and red cherry tomatoes. Cucumber plants appear to be thriving. Haven't had any fruits pop up yet. My peppers are doing great, which I really don't do. I have not. Historically, my pepper plants have not done well. For whatever reason, maybe I don't water them enough. Maybe I don't know, but my peppers are doing well. So had some tomatoes, and then power comes back on. It was only out for like 45 minutes. So power comes back on before 1:00. So then I come back down and I'm going to do some shipping, and I go to my awaiting shipments tab, 0. Like, what the hell is this? I go and I'm like, what? So apparently now with auto pay, buyers have I think it's like 12 hours. So the seller, and I noticed this, and I didn't read it when I saw the messages popping up on my phone during the first live, and then I actually read it last night, but it says buyer has paid, do not ship, with a bunch of exclamation points. And I'm like, what the hell? So yeah, apparently I think it's 12 hours. And I haven't checked. Let's see. Let's go over here. But yeah, I had 0 orders to ship, and I'm like, well, I guess I'm not doing any shipping. So awaiting shipment. Okay, so now I have 306 orders. Okay, so everything from last night is now, I just want to check awaiting pay. Oh, I do have awaiting payments. Huh. So it looks like one eBay user is not signed up for payments. Interesting. I'll just send an invoice. All right, here we go. Oh, and that was like a $200 order. All right, so we'll send that off. All right, so yeah, so now everything I can ship today. So I'm not going to do any eBay live today. I do want to take some time to ship. Plus, I want to get some stuff organized because it is a little frantic, especially when I'm taking requests. It's like, boom, take requests. It's kind of difficult. It's like, okay, I can get that. But then when I get random requests, it's like, I have a bunch of that, but I'm not prepared to sell that on eBay Live. I didn't think anybody would want William Perry cards in the eBay Live. So, and let's look at my numbers. So I'm now 100 year over year, 198% year over year. So doing well. And I think I've done more in sales this year than I did all of last year. And I think I would have hit that yesterday, July 22nd. So we like that. I did also, before we get into the chat and I start talking about live selling and why you're going to fail at live selling, I did list a couple buy it now. And that's something I'm not completely shutting down my eBay store. And I'm going to continue with my premium live store. I'm going to still pay the $60 a month, and I'm going to be well under 10,000 listings. And when I have 60,000 to use, but I'm just going to keep that because I think I don't know when my year, if you bail early, you get a penalty. I'm sure I could get that waived. But I'm just going to keep that. I listed a couple random things. Yes, some twin stuff that was in that last collection I got. So I listed a couple of those. I'm going to be listing some of the wax that's behind me. So yeah. So not completely, but the $1.75 commons. It also, like, I can go grab a box from my inventory, and a lot of it yesterday. Barry Sanders, Joe Montana, Dan Marino lots were selling for like 10 card lots of Dan Marino selling for $25. When those were all in my eBay store for $1.75 and save 25% when you buy 7 or more. So, like, I'm already making more money and faster by deleting my inventory and just listing it on eBay Live. And I know there's going to be counters to that. Well, blah, 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 blah. And I understand that. But for me, and again, I want to reiterate this, and I'll probably reiterate this a couple times throughout today's show. This is for me. I'm talking about what my business is doing. I'm not necessarily projecting like, hey, if you go to live selling, you're going to sell Dan Marino lots for $25. I'm not telling you that. In fact, you're not going to do that. But right now I am. And it may not be, maybe on Whatnot. Maybe there's somebody else. Maybe there's Marcus Allen lots on Whatnot or Dibdit or District or whatever. But every channel, hell, every day, every hour is different on live selling. So I could go live in an hour and do a 10-card Dan Marino lot that sells for $2. But last night they were selling for 25. And if they sell for 25, I'm going to pull some more Dan Marino lots. Oh, this one also sold for 25. Well, let's do some more. Is that sustainable? No, I'm not going to go out and source a bunch of Dan Marino cards, but I have enough to make $25 at a time while it lasts. And again, really nothing is sustainable when it comes to, and that's kind of a bit over dramatic, but in reality, that's the thing. Remember how well Wander Franco cards were selling? Now try to sell a Wander Franco card. Nothing is sustainable. All right. Unicorn Cupcake apologizes to Grandma. Yeah, I'm like, I was going to do a generic Hobby Evolution thumbnail. I'm like, wait, ChatGPT can create one for me. I want something that says you're going to fail. I'm like, an old lady. Andy Max in the house. Good morning. 608. Good morning, Cody. Kyle's in the house. Good morning. I need a new mouse. My clicker's not clicking right. Gem City Card Show. Good morning. I have, in fact, failed and been successful with live selling. Yeah, I look back, and here's the thing. It's all relative. The first few shows I did, I think the first show I did, $250. And I was like, this is awesome. If I did $250 in a live sale today, I would be so pissed off. I'd be screaming at my viewers. No, I wouldn't. I would be like, this sucks. But I also know there could be times when that's coming. And I'm going to touch on that. That's I've got a few points that I want to touch on regarding the time it takes. Does it take less time or more time to do a live auction? And that depends. For me, it takes less time. But again, remember, I'm only talking about me. But what was that? But it takes me a lot less time to run auctions. Dedicated times to go live. Obviously, that's a problem for me. I don't know when I'm going to go on next. My next, I haven't scheduled anything, but I plan on doing it Thursday night. Now, that can bring up some inconsistency issues. So we'll talk about that. I don't want to, I'll bring up more topics, but I tend to go off in tangents. So good morning, Gem City Card Show. Hey, by the way, Fanatics, I believe, Fanatics Live, Gem City Card Show has a 1-of-1 Gary V Friends that's up for grabs. What's your auction at? Where's my Twitter at? I thought you sent me the link. You probably did, but I can't find it. Here it is. All right, so let's share the screen. So I don't know if anybody's into V Friends. Check this out. It's a 1-of-1 sketch card, Empathy Elephant, SGC or CGC authenticated. How much times? I can't read it on the screen. It's at $1,075. Ends tomorrow night. So there you go. Fanaticscollect.com. Where are we at? Timothy, what's going on? Good morning. Unicorn Cupcake says, Bo, 5Xing the hobby one day at a time. Let's get to 10X. Let's 10X my wallet, right? Card Safari, good morning. With the disarray on the floor behind you, I hope you don't let your space become like Gruber's table. My boy, my guy, John. Matthias, what's up? What are your top 10 tips for low-end sports card starting with eBay Live? Ooh, that's tough. I don't have 10 tips. I'll give you one tip. Just because it would take me too long to think. I don't even know if I could come up with 10, at least not off the bat. So tip for low-end sports cards on eBay Live, I would say start with, I'm trying to think. So I may have done it a little differently than, I probably would have started with shell listings. I think the first few auctions I ran were actually scheduled listings, which really pinholes you into, like, you got to sell, and some stuff's not going to sell because you're just starting out. I would say the biggest tip is know your audience. Now, if you're starting, you don't know your audience, but you get to know your audience pretty fast. And if somebody says you can also determine who's legit going to buy, who's going to spend money, and who's just commenting to see their names on the chat. And you'll figure that out pretty quickly. And you say, okay, I want Wayne Gretzky. I didn't realize how much hockey buyers were out there. I'm moving Wayne Gretzky cards. I probably would have put some of these Wayne Gretzky cards in my buy it now for $2.50, and they're selling for $15 bucks. I also wouldn't have looked at comps. I would have just said $2.50. They probably would have sold right away. So I think my number one tip is get to know your audience. If you're starting, get to know your audience, and just be prepared. And then once you kind of learn, you start seeing repeat names and you understand, okay, this guy I haven't seen my Strasburg guy in a while. He hasn't been in the last couple live streams. Maybe he's on vacation. So get to know your audience. And I think this is a trap many card sellers fall into. Many card sellers, and this probably falls into many salespeople traps. We tend, and I'm saying we just as a broad statement because some may not think this way. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I do. But we tend to think in what we want. And this is what held me back from probably having earlier success than what I did 5 years ago, because I was hesitant to list. Now, part of that was I only had X amount of listings and I don't want to waste listings on stuff that's not going to sell. But I was not being proactive in listing because it's like, oh, I would not spend that. But it's not about us. It's never about you when you are selling. It is about your customer and your potential customer. I don't like selling hockey cards because I don't know shit about it. But I have some and people are buying, and now I'm learning a little bit about hockey and what's going to sell. It's like, oh, all right. So maybe next week at the National, maybe I dip my toes and dig through a bargain box of hockey. Because now I have that customer base. And that customer base didn't just, they just happened to come into my life. Hey, got any hockey? Well, yeah, I got this Wayne Gretzky. Oh, all of a sudden, I learn who the hockey collectors are. It's not about us. It's not about you. It's about customers, and not just your existing customers. Because how do you 10X? How do you 10X your business? You're not going to 10X your business through your customer base. You're going to 10X your business through non-existent customers who are potential customers or future customers that aren't currently buying from you. That's the only way you're going to grow your business. If you're okay with just selling, the $1.75 cards like I was doing it, but I wasn't okay with it. That's why my goals were 40% growth this year. It wasn't going to get done with my existing customer base, nor with $1.75 mass listings. I was also coming up close to 60,000 listings. What happens at 60,000 listings? All of a sudden, you either stop, or you pivot, or you start taking listings down that aren't selling. Because what's going to happen when you reach that 60,000, if you're a premium store, or 10,000, 11,000, whatever it is for the basic store, what happens when you reach that and you stop listing new stuff? Your sales decline and you stop seeing growth. And that's just simple math. So I was starting to see that. And I think when that 70s card show came in and we did a little inventory, and I looked up and I saw I had like 40 Aristides Aquino listings. Like, fuck, these aren't going to, I probably had 50 Wander Franco listings. Those weren't going to move. So you never know what's going to sell though. But if you can't list new stuff and you've got a listing that's 7 years old, I think 7 years is long enough to say, I give up. It's not going to, if it hasn't sold in the last 7 years, which if it went through the COVID era, if my listing was listed on eBay in 2018 and it didn't sell in 2020 or 2021, it's never going to sell. So I think you can take those listings down. So I guess that's going back to Matthias. I think that's my biggest tip would be get to know your audience. And the great thing about eBay Live is it's not static selling. You can get to know your audience in an hour. It's not like listing on Buy It Now. You don't know who your audience is going to be listing and Buy It Now. And you may not know for 6 months to a year. But in live selling, you can get to know your audience in an hour. And that's the power of live selling. Gem City Card Show says, I think I was team live selling for a long time. Your patience waiting for eBay Live was the smart move. Stay patient and make moves when right. That is number one. I also don't want to come out here. And again, this Hobby Evolution show is not a show, not necessarily. We offer tips in mostly opinions. Tips. I gave Matthias a tip. But this show began 5 years ago because I just wanted to talk. I just wanted to share my opinions on what I ate for breakfast, what I had for dinner last night, which I didn't really eat much yesterday. I got on the scale this morning. See, and I'm like a squirrel. I have ADD. Got on the squirrel this morning. Got on the scale this morning. I was pleasantly surprised. We did a lot of walking. I did a lot of drinking and eating. Anyway. So I don't want to, again, and I want to keep reiterating this, that this is coming from my viewpoint, and my viewpoint is different from every single person watching or listening to this show. And your viewpoint is different from mine and everybody else that's watching or listening to this show. So this isn't me. I don't want to come out and say live selling is the future. You need to go get on live selling platforms so you can have the success that I'm having right now. I'm not saying that. I'm also, and I'm not saying don't do it because I don't want the competition. Less competition is great for a business owner, but that's not the angle I'm coming from. So this is a great point that Gem City Card Show makes about live selling. And I've been pro live selling for about a year, maybe even more, year and a half. And I've had the thought that live selling really is the future. I have a background in radio. I know how to talk. I do Hobby Evolution almost every morning. I talk about random shit for an hour, sometimes 2 hours. I can talk. I like listening to myself talk. I've been told that a time or two. And I worked in radio morning shows for 12 years. Play-by-play. Thousands and thousands of games on play-by-play. I can talk for hours and hours and hours. Not everybody can do that. So my thought process with live selling was, hey, I can talk. This is something that I'll probably end up doing. I dragged my feet with Whatnot. I did sign up for Whatnot last August, September, October. And I just never took the plunge because I've been so devoted to eBay. I love eBay. And I know many people have the opposite opinion. But for everything that eBay offers, and this is not me like shilling for eBay. It sounds like it, but I'm not. I honestly love eBay. I'm not going to shill for companies that I don't believe in. I don't believe in Whatnot. I think it's going to be a very successful platform, but it's just not for me. I applied for eBay Live a couple times. I don't know if that application process is still active. I would imagine if it's not right now, it will be soon. There are still plenty of kinks on eBay Live on the platform to get out. They're still working. There's still going to be more massive updates coming. So I don't think it will be, but more and more sellers are being added. What was did we look at? Oops. When I started on eBay Live, ebay.com/eBay Live. Like on a what is today? Thursday? Wednesday? Hope it's Wednesday. I'm not ready for it to be Thursday. But there are, let's do sports cards. So there's 3 sports card streams on right. I guess it is 10 o'clock, but it used to be there wasn't any, but ComC would start at 11 o'clock, and that was the first. So there's and these are names that weren't on eBay Live a month ago. OPC Baseball, One Dot Dash, Ari Baseball. Let's see who else is selling today. Let's just look at the entire day. There's a lot of sports cards. I mean, and a lot is also relative, a lot compared to a month ago. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 15. Or wait, yeah, 15. 15. There's 15, which I know compared to how many 15 at what, and there's probably 15 at whatnot at 3 a.m. But there's 15. There was a month ago, there was how many live auctions in the sports card category? Maybe 4, 5. So there's already about 3x the amount of sports card sellers in a lot of different names. We got names now. They're going earlier to try to, because a lot of these, 11, 12, or 7 p.m. They're prime time. And I'm shocked there's only one. My buddy Steve, Sports Card Grading, is the only scheduled live seller at 7 p.m. tonight. I would imagine there's going to be there. Most people are probably like me and are shitty at scheduling. All right, moving on. Cody says, now that your 1 million Cubs project is done, what is fueling your collector self? Honestly, nothing right now. I still pick up Cubs stuff. I pick up Cubs cards when I see it. When I'm digging through bargain boxes, I'm always picking up Cubs cards. In fact, my last bargain box trip, although I did not find any Cubs cards at the card shop in Maine, didn't pick up any. But I picked up this like out of a $1 box, Jefferson Rojas, first chrome refractor. I picked this up this was $1. This was at the, which card show was this? I can't remember. One of the most recent card shows I did, maybe Janesville. Home Run Heroics with a box score, Ernie Banks. So I still that still fuels me. $1 box Cubs still fuels me. Although there is a Cap Anson, Allen and Ginter on eBay that, when does it end? It's got the starting bid is like 3,500, and I think the buy it now is like 6,000. I think it's there. It is 3,500. It still have 4 days left. 3,500 is the opening bid, and it's like, should I? So, but yeah, nothing is honestly really fueling. It's kind of nice going full bore collecting Cubs for 7 years. The last year has been kind of nice to just relax as a collector and just, not be pushing for Cubs. Unicorn Cupcake says, I think baked into part of the person's purchase, if they have been in multiple live sales with you, is your personality and presentation. That's your premium, in my opinion. When I see you next, I will try to remember to bring you a kit to grow lettuce indoors. Ooh, yes, I would love that with water. Yeah, because my fucking lettuce has been devoured. I did get 2 salads out of my lettuce. And then the rabbits took over. Timothy says, did you entertain the thought of selling your eBay store inventory, name and followers to another seller? No. Just let someone take over and buy you out. I don't know if that's possible through eBay rules or not. I don't think so. Basically, you have to sell your inventory. And I think that's just, honestly, I think that's dumb. And here's why I think that. I mean, it's, in theory, it would be awesome. But in practice, it's dumb. And here's why. I see it I'm selling my entire inventory. Hell, we've had low-end sellers that have ditched selling in Hobby Evolution, and I'm selling my whole inventory. It's valued at $20,000. I only want $8,000. Well, when you go look at it, it's a bunch of $1.75 garbage. Like if I sold, I had $200,000-$300,000 in inventory, but how much of it was just junk? So like, and I saw it's like, I wouldn't even be comfortable selling it for 10% of 300,000. Well, what's 10%? 300,000. That's 30,000, right? No, that's not 30,000. 3,000, right? I haven't had my mushroom coffee yet. But no, I never, and I would never sell my name, image, and likeness. I would never do that. Now 99centcards.com, I would absolutely sell that domain. But no. I don't update my website. I should probably just redirect 1millioncubs.com, although it is kind of a nice landing spot for like my project, and I'm probably not going to do anything with it. But that's a good 99 cent cards. Is there a place I'm going to ask ChatGPT? Where can I sell a domain? GoDaddy auctions. I don't want to auction. I just want to sell it. I wonder if you can, let's ChatGPT. How much is my domain worth? 99centcards.com. Let's see if ChatGPT can give me an answer. All right. So here, the domain 99centcards.com has some clear strengths, but its value depends on several factors. Here's a quick breakdown. Keyword rich, 99 cent and cards are both strong e-commerce keywords. It's brandable, easy to remember, especially for budget-focused collectors. .com, always preferred and most valuable TLD. Niche relevance, perfect for discount sports or trading cards, which have a dedicated market. However, there's some potential limitations on 99centcards.com. Price anchored, the 99 cent part may limit perception of premium offerings. That's where we're at now. I don't really promote 99 cent cards anymore. Long tail, slightly longer than typical high value domains of 13 characters. Interesting. I was not aware of that. Estimated value range, most automated domain appraisals, GoDaddy, Estabot would likely value 99centcards.com between $500 and $2,000, assuming no significant traffic or revenue. No, there's no traffic or revenue. Want a real appraisal? Let's go to GoDaddy. Let's just open the link. Here we go. Let's just share the screen and let's watch it together. Stop screen, share screen. Free domain appraisal. All right, we want 99. What do you guys think? What do you think 99centcards.com is going to be valued on GoDaddy.com? Here we go. I don't know how accurate these are. $1,172. You could list it for sale. Interesting. All right. Where are we at? Gem City says, do you use BCW sorting trays? Sometimes. I do have one. I used it mainly for sorting my Cubs collection, which I obviously haven't done in a while. But yeah, I have one. I put Post-it notes of each letter, and I think there's less spots because I had to combine a couple letters. And plus, there's nobody with the last name X, so didn't need one for that. What did you get your wife for your anniversary? Did you get anything? We gave ourselves a trip to Portland, Maine. I'm gonna get flowers today. I didn't leave the house yesterday, but I'm gonna get some flowers. Day late, par for the course. Sweetheart, I bought you an Ernie Banks rookie PSA 8. Love you. Yeah, there you go. She'll love it. Found Treasures, what's up? Jody, what's going on? Good morning. I was at the Rays game last night and watched you for about 2 hours. You did great. Awesome. So were you the one that commented about Rays? Gem City Card Show says, yeah, the elephant card, it's not going bonkers yet. They have to authenticate it, and I didn't want it graded as sketch cards can be weird. Gotcha. Johnny M in the house. Good morning. Pulled an Allen and Ginter mini Jesus card out of a $50 lot I bought Friday. It's at $117 with 4 days to go. Nice. Peter, what's going on? Good morning. Unicorn Cupcake says, don't forget to hit the like button. Thank you. I maxed my store at 11K, deleted 1,000, and I'm adding newer stuff. Also using all my auction allocations. Been selling for over 70 cards a day the last 3 Sundays. Normally a 20 to 25 card a day seller. Super smart. Absolutely. And that's the problem you run into is, all right, now what? And, either dump the stale and usually the stale inventory, and this is something I learned very quickly. The stale inventory on Buy It Now is not really going to move at auction, but to use those auctions, and I was so anti-auction for so long, and then it's like, well, if I can move some of the stuff and try to liquidate at whatever possible price. G John Sports, what's up? You definitely have a gift for Gab. Not everyone can do that. Enjoy your show. Thank you. I appreciate that. Jim City says you can list it for Buy It Now. Ooh, maybe I'll do that. Ziggy No, what's up? Joining late. Read thumbnail. Unicorn says me and Low Roller are in at $500. Ziggy says I need all the tips you can give me. I'm betting on live selling. I am too. Thank you. I appreciate that. I am also betting on live selling. I think live selling is the future. Let's go into it. I think live selling is the future, but I think many people, and I shouldn't say most, many people are going to fail at live selling. And I think the failure comes in, I'll start this, I'll get to the last couple comments, but I think the failure is going to come into not being able to adapt with a business. And we've seen that in low-end card sellers and volume sellers where people come in like, oh, I can sell 91 Fleer for $2. Boom. And then is that sustainable? It wasn't. Is live selling sustainable? It is, but you have to be able to adapt. And I think that's where people are unable to adapt. I had to adapt my eBay business. If I would not have adapted my eBay business, I would have failed. And that's where I wanted to see 40% growth. And I was going to do it. I just needed to pivot away from $1.75 listings because that wasn't going to grow my business 40% year over year. Or just, I wanted to grow it 40% year over year because I'm now entering year, am I at the tail end of year, I think. Yeah, I'm coming up on my 4 years. And so I'm in year 3 right now. And I needed to see some significant growth. Now I'm seeing it with live selling. But not everybody will see that. Not everybody has the capability to adapt and understand the real-time pivoting that needs to be done in business in general, whatever you're selling, but in sales. So that's a big reason why I think many people will fail. And another reason, people won't give it an opportunity. I think a lot of people most people are very, I want it now. I want success now. And we also saw this with low-end volume. So, well, how come I'm not selling 100 cards a day? How come I'm not selling 500 cards a day? How come I'm not doing this, that, or the other? Well, it doesn't happen overnight. It took me a long time and a lot of hours. People don't want to work as long. I'm willing to work at, I slept in this morning, but I was up till midnight last night. Sometimes I'm up at 5 a.m. Just depends on the day. And I work day and night. I don't care about nights and weekends. I'll work. I'll go to card shows. Not everybody wants to do that. That's okay. That's what I want to do. And I know that if I want to see the success and have success and build on that, that's what I've got to do. I had to do that in radio, and I worked my way up in radio. That's how I was able to, do some of the things I did. But not everybody wants to do that. All right, let's get to the last few comments, and then I want to counter some of the things that I've heard about live selling. And again, before we get into it, Jody says, yes, it was my raise comment. Again, I want to reiterate, this is from my point of view in my business. My business is not your business or anybody's business. It's my business. This is how I'm having success. It may not translate to you. So I just want to reiterate that again. And I'll probably reiterate it one or two more times. Max says, yes, the 2012 People of the Bible set. Very popular, have tons. Interesting. I'll have to keep an eye on those. I didn't realize those were a big. I've got a bunch of Allen and Ginter minis because I couldn't scan them. So they're just sitting in a box. Unicorn says, you're not an old crank like John. That helps. Golden knowledge. Johnny says to Max, I had no idea it was that good until it went live. And 1 minute later, buyer wanted to know if I had a buy it now price. That's a quick hint that you've got something good. It's currently the only raw copy on eBay. Interesting. Max has a bunch of Ginter minis as well. LOL. You probably have me beat. So I'm just going to go down the list of, I'm going to go down the list of things. I have 5 things that I've heard, and there's probably been more, but these are 5 topics that I wanted to touch on. And again, this is from me, and I'm on eBay Live, and I understand not anybody, just there's very few sellers on eBay Live. And right now I have the biggest sports card platform. I have a live selling channel on the biggest card selling platform on the internet. That is humongous. And not everybody has that. So I am very grateful that I have that opportunity, have this opportunity. And more people will be coming on. But I need to get as many customers, auctions going as I can to build up an audience. And so I can sustain this. All right. So number 1, and these are in no particular order. I've heard, well, it takes just as much time as it does buy it now. And for me, that's not the case. It does not take me, it honestly takes me a lot less time. But remember, I don't curate auctions. I do shell listings and I take requests and I throw whatever's in a box next to me. That's huge. For multiple reasons that I've mentioned many times since my live selling venture began. It allows me to be flexible. You know, you list 100, you do 100 auction show and it's a bunch of stuff. You don't have the right audience. Stuff's going to go cheap. Stuff may not sell and you're going to be disappointed. I learned that quickly. Like, oh man, this sucked. Let's try shell listings. Now it's like, hey, if something doesn't sell, all right, let's pivot. And if I thought Barry Sanders was going to be really good, I had 20 Barry Sanders listings and they all sell for $1 or don't sell at all. Well, shit, I'm stuck with 19 more listings. Somebody doesn't want this. Now I list something Barry Sanders vintage baseball doesn't sell well. A 1983 Pete Rose last night sold for like $20. A 1973 Steve Carlton sold for $3. It's like, okay, don't list any 73 top superstar Hall of Famers because I'm not going to get the value out of them. But Pete Rose is going to sell, and let's flip and start selling. Okay, you want Pete Rose? You can adapt to what people are buying with shell listings, and I don't have to curate anything. Now, I do curate some stuff. I do the 10-card lots, which are really fun for me. And those do take a little bit of time. So there is a little bit of curating that goes into it, but it takes me far less time because I utilize shell listings. I can create 200 auction listings in less than 5 minutes because of that. That's how I work things. Not everybody wants to do that. Some people want. Now, I think there are disadvantages to shell listings. If I have a 73 top Steve Carlton in a shell listing, maybe I don't have vintage buyers. So I will probably go back to doing some auctions, and these would be higher end. I've got like a Cal Ripken Jr., 82 tops traded still. I've got some rookies, some vintage, maybe some of my unopened wax, where I will actually list that out and give it a week so people can, see it, find it, and maybe they come into the show. Maybe some oddball stuff like these rings, like who's going to come into a sports card and like, oh, I've got a Brewers ring. Now, these actually did really well. I had a whole bunch of them from the last Goodwill pallet I picked up. So that's the thing. Now, there's also a counter to the shell listings. Well, what if I want Ken Griffey Jr. and I don't want to wait 2 hours? Well, here's the thing. If you come into my auction, now, again, this is me. This may not be how it works for every live seller with shell listings, but I want Ken Griffey Jr. You come in and you say, I want Ken Griffey Jr. And I'll be like, I'll get Ken Griffey Jr. lined up. Give me a minute. Or, I'm sorry, I don't have Ken Griffey Jr. You wasted no time. You came in, you asked, and I said, sorry, I don't have any Ken Griffey Jr. Or, yeah, here's an 89 Donruss rated rookie. Let's run it right now. Boom. You don't have to wait, where if you didn't have a shell listing and you had a Ken Griffey Jr., like, okay, you've got to wait for it. Or if you say, hey, can you run that Ken Griffey Jr. now? And the seller may or may not run it for you right now. He may say, no, we're going to run it at auction 69. We're on auction 14. And you have to time it out. So it's all how individual sellers. It's not black and white. It's not this way or that way. It's live. It's live. And that's the benefit to live selling. You can do anything you want. It's not this way or that way. There's no right or wrong way to do it. You adapt to what your customers want. That's the beauty of live selling. All right, let's go see a couple of chats. Max says, I bet I'd have everyone in the country beat. LOL. I guess I'm over 250,000 in extras. Red Light 34. Good morning. Ziggy No says, that's cool. Question, have you tried to rip and sell on eBay, rip and ship? So sometimes. So yes. But here's how I handle it. I'm not a breaker, but I do sell unopened packs. So I'll have a pack of 89 Donruss. And it's like, all right, here's 89 Donruss. And people were like, rip it. And so I do. It's like, and then, but you know, I rip it. Here it is. I put it in the team bag and then it goes. So I do it. I don't like doing it because it takes time. I like to burn through as many listings as I can and get done as quickly as possible. But yes, I have done rip and ship, and it is sometimes it's fun. Like, oh, hey, you got the Greg Jeffries or whatever it might be. But we did a rip and ship on I think 88 score, and it was probably the worst pack of 88 score you could get. I don't think there was a single Hall of Famer in it or superstar in it. Good morning, TD Sports Cards Money Day. All right, so we talked about the time it takes and some of the peripherals on that. Devoted time slot, which you have to, you know, that is something you have to be live, just like this show every morning at whatever time. That's live selling. Hobby Evolution is like live selling. I'm flexible. I'm going to go on whenever I want to go on. And eBay Live and any other, you can choose when you go on. Now you are handcuffed to selling, but that's the point. That's the whole point. My downfall personally is I don't schedule ahead. I plan on going live tomorrow night, 7 p.m. I don't have it on the schedule yet. I need to get it on the schedule. And then this weekend, I've got 2 Madison card shows, Saturday, Sunday, at the Madison Marriott South, which was formerly known as the Sheraton Hotel. It's same address, same hotel, this Saturday and Sunday. So that's going to, prevent me from doing many auctions this weekend. I'll still do a Sunday night auction. So yeah, you have to have that dedicated time. But when I do go live, I more than make up for it in sales. Like I mentioned at the start of the show, yesterday, I did 5x what I would have done selling buy it now listings my entire week on vacation. And I had 0 items to come home to ship, which saved me an immense amount of time because shipping the live auction items are so much faster. I have everything in 2 auctions in a 4-row box, and everything's labeled. This morning, I'll go in, I'll sort everything out, and then I ship it. Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. I have 306 orders to ship. I'll get them all done today. Big Harv says, Bo's no schedule is messing with my mind. How is he live at this time of the morning, right? Red Light says, where is John today? I don't know. Where is that 70s card show? We haven't heard from Low Roller Scratcher either. It's funny. It's funny that way. All right. So devoted time slot was number 2. Number 3 was constantly getting inventory. I love this part. I love constantly getting inventory. Don't you love buying? I love buying cards. I love it. I have no issues buying inventory. I mean, I have to turn down. In the last few weeks, I've sourced from a card shop, a card show, a friend, and putting an ad out on, not an ad, but putting a listing on a Facebook group saying, hey, I'm buying. And that's where some of my inventory, I'll source from eBay to flip on eBay Live. I love buying. I also have a ton of inventory that I really don't need to, but I like having fresh stuff for my regular customers. Like, hey, we want Lions cards. Man, I go through Lions cards like crazy. Cal Raleigh, can't keep them in stock. Acuna and Otani, crazy. So I love sourcing. I love constantly getting inventory. That is a great problem to have. That means I'm selling a lot, and that's a good thing. This weekend, Saturday, Madison Card Show, I'll be buying. Next week, I'll be buying at the National. More than I've ever bought before. Can't wait. Jody says, so Card Dealer Pro announced yesterday they will interface with Whatnot to list buy it now and set up auctions. Can you use Card Dealer Pro to list on eBay Live? Yes. It works the same way. In fact, I still use Card Dealer Pro to list my shell listings. I'm only using to list 200 or 500 auctions. I use one scan on Card Dealer Pro. So I have the lowest subscription now. But I still utilize it just to do everything, and it works the same as you would any other auction. It's actually an auction listing. So I set it up like an auction listing. I use my thumbnail for whatever auction I'm listing, like Portland pickups. I use that thumbnail, drop it in. Obviously, it's not going to recognize it. I export it to a spreadsheet, and then I enter my shell title and copy and paste how many ever auctions I need to use. Make sure the auction's set to the time that I need to go. Upload that to eBay, and then and then there's a couple extra steps where I need to go in and download a spreadsheet to get the item numbers, and then copy and paste the item numbers into eBay Live. I can do 500 listings in less than 5 minutes. Big John says it's still impressive how you manage it all. I'm pretty good at multitasking. And so it's fun. I enjoy it. And I think a lot of that comes from, my ADD, my undiagnosed ADD, my background in radio play-by-play, and all that helps. Cody says buying will have some this weekend. Hey, I'm looking. I'll be looking to buy. You got it. Come see me. You know where to find me. Well, maybe not. I'll be around. All right. So we talked about constantly getting inventory. I love it, and I'm going to keep buying. Max says, if you run a successful card business, sourcing should never stop. Absolutely. Even when before, like now I'm literally always buying. Before I wasn't always buying, but I was always looking. I'd go to a card show and it's like, I don't need to buy, but if I find a good deal, I'll buy. Now I need to buy, but really I can buy it. Here's the thing, I know exactly, I've done enough of these. I have a customer base and I know what's going to sell. I know what's not going to sell. And I buy what's going to sell and I don't buy what's not going to sell. But sometimes, like the slabs that I bought at the card shop this weekend, they sold for basically what I paid for them. But the 89 Donruss packs for $19 on a $2, that's what makes up for it. So do I make a big profit on everything? No, absolutely not. Nobody does. But I make enough that it works. Max says, I've heard that it does from other sources, but they are just wrong. Inventory rotation is the single most important thing in the card business, 100%. And that's why if you don't rotate your inventory or if you don't add to your eBay store, why are you not getting? I haven't listed in 3 weeks. I've got 50,000 listings on eBay, but I'm getting less and less sales. When was the last time you added new inventory? Well, I've only added 10, 15, 100 items out of 50,000. Well, there you go. That's why you're not selling as much. Kyle says 1 week's revenue in a single live stream is remarkable business efficiency. 100%. Absolutely. All right. So we talked about the time it takes, devoted time slot, constantly getting inventory, too much competition. Now, this is a serious problem. And this will be too much competition. You go to Whatnot. If I would go to Whatnot, I am just another seller in a huge ocean, and I would not do well. I think I would do well, but I wouldn't do as well as what I'm doing on eBay Live because there's less competition. Of course. Will there be more competition on eBay Live? Of course there will be. Do you think there's going to be 40 card sellers on eBay Live from here to eternity? No. They are constantly adding new sellers and onboarding new sellers. There's going to be more competition. This is how I combat it and attempt to combat the more competition. You keep going. Take advantage of the now. And that's what I'm doing. Don't worry about the future. Worry about the present. And right now, the present, I'm making good money and I'm building a customer base. And right now, those customers, I need to practice good customer service. It's foreign to me. But I need these customers to keep coming back because I'm not going to be one of few games in town. There's going to be multiple games in town. And the more it goes, the more sellers will be onboarded and the more competition I will have. But I'm here now, and I need to take advantage of that. And again, I'm very lucky in being recruited to eBay and selling on eBay Live because very few people have had that opportunity. And so I need to take advantage of that. Max says, it's one reason I think I'm so successful busy at shows. I would assume I'm doing more shows than almost anyone in the state. So the next time I show up in your neighborhood, my wares won't be the same. Absolutely. 100%. And it's okay. If people don't want to go to a card show every weekend, that's okay. But also, it may prevent you from having more success, higher success. People are doing well because they're doing things that a lot of people don't want to do. And that's just life. Shell listings. And I think I kind of touched on this a little bit ago about how people, if somebody wants to see Ken Griffey Jr. or Barry Sanders or Joe Montana, if they come into my live stream and they say Joe Montana, Barry Sanders, Ken Griffey Jr., if I have it, I'll run it. If I don't have it, I'll say, sorry, I don't have it. And frankly, that's shell listings. And it provides more in so many more benefits than it does negatives. Now, again, will I solely rely on shell listings? No, because there are listings that I do need to have, preloaded. And I actually learned this on the first eBay Live I did. I set up listings ahead of time. I had somebody that had never sold or had never been on eBay Live. I didn't know this existed, but I had a Michael Jordan phone card and he was waiting for that auction. So it does help. So some of the more rare items that I have, vintage baseball doesn't do well. Maybe I preload those. Unopened wax, some of the higher end. Now, 89 Donruss, I don't need to preload that, but 80 Topps baseball, 83 football, maybe a wax box, that stuff I would have to preload. So those are just some of the things that I've heard over time. And I think the biggest one is it's not sustainable. There's going to be more competition. And yeah, like right now is it crazy? But again, people are going to continue to buy things over market price. People have been doing it since the dawn of baseball cards. It's going to continue. Now, will it be Barry Sanders today? And again, it may not be Barry Sanders or Dan Marino in the same auction. We've seen that with Cal Raleigh rookie cards. I sold one early in a show for 15. An hour later, it sold for 2. And that's the craziness of live selling. Is this a sustainable model for me? Absolutely. Is it for you? It might not be, for many reasons. Max says, can you take a hybrid approach? Maybe put the shells on the bottom and then maybe like 15 to 20 before the show to attract. You were selecting which auction runs on your end. So yes, however, it's not easy to move them up. If I have a auction that's all the way at the bottom, it does take some time to move it to the top. And that's something I think eBay will get fixed on the back end, hopefully soon, because it's kind of a pain in the ass to move auctions around. It is not simplistic. And I have taken a hybrid approach. I have done some shell listings where it's kind of a wild card. I called it the wild card, where, all right, if you have any requests, I'll run Ken Griffey Jr. I'll run Dan Marino. Yeah, it's I can't. Let me see if I can. I don't have any listings but yeah, it's because I've done it a few times and it's like, oh, this is a pain in the ass. So I wish it were easier. I wish I could just like click run. Yeah, you can't just click it and run. I don't think so. Maybe they have made that change. I don't have anything set up, so I can't tell. Max says that would be something I think you should rush to eBay, creates a base viewership, and then randos will join. Yeah, I agree. All righty, I'm going to wrap things up. It's almost 11 o'clock. I've got some shipping to do. I should eat, I guess, lunch at this point. Have a great day. Hit the like, subscribe to the channel. My next eBay Live will be tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Central, Thursday night. Madison Card Show is this weekend. Saturday is the Sports and TCG show, 140 dealer tables at the Sheraton Hotel, now known as the Madison Marriott South, 706 John Nolan Drive. As far as I know, all construction will be finished up this week, and we'll be good to go in all the spaces. So the first floor Williamson Ballroom, the upstairs Capitol Square Ballroom, and the mezzanine outside of the upstairs ballroom will all be open with 140 dealer tables. And then Sunday is our Madison Pokemon show, TCG only on Sunday. All righty. Have a wonderful Wednesday. Take your trash out. You might have already missed the truck since I slept in today. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you tomorrow.